Now that we are powered back, welcome back to some more Stormworks. I am StormRunner Gaming, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to keep those engines nice and cool, like you've got ice water running through them, so you never have any problems with them overheating or anything. And I'm going to quickly run through the original design of radiators, and then I'm going to be going into some water cooling for your engine here as well. So this is my simple advanced engine that makes no sense and it is a contradiction, I realize. But all we have is two radiators cooling this one engine here, and that is a viable cooling option. But of course, you may not have enough overhead to push it to 100%. So, of course, you can add in some heat sinks as well as maybe a fluid tank or something with water in it. But that is I guess, I don't want to say basic, but like the original way with the radiators and everything. But I have come to know and been working on a lot of cool and new water cooling solutions for engines. So we're going to take this engine we have right here and set it up to be water cooled now instead of basically radiator or air cooled as you'd like to well, not really air cooled, but so I'm going to be setting up a quick system for a boat in the water. So this is not going to be working for a car or anything. I'm also going to do a system for a car as well with a container of water, but for now, this is the water cooled system that you need to use for boats. And most of the game is boats, but I know people do also do cars and everything as well. And this isn't actually going to be working, but I can show you a boat I built real quick with water cooling in it the other day that works pretty well with the water cooled system. I'm able to push the aircraft engine there very fast, all things considered. And what I'm doing behind me while I'm blabbing on is we need to have a pump running water into the engine. So let's quickly make sure we've got the correct, that's fluid out and this is fluid in. So I need to switch this pump around real quick. And now that we have the fluid out spot right there, fluid in spot right here, then all we're going to be doing is running this pipe down to the bottom of your boat where it hits the water, and all you need to do is have a fluid port in there. So what that's doing for our intake in the engine is that's pulling fresh, cold seawater into the engine to cool it. And now what we need to do for the out of the engine for our cooling system is we need to take another pump as well, and let's make sure we've got it oriented correctly. So yep, that's our out and this is our in, and all we need to do is connect that pump up as well and have it as an out port for our engine. So all of the hot water is going to be coming out of there and the cool fresh new water is going to be coming through here. And I actually cannot run it like this on land, even though it looks pretty stable. Like, all we would need to do to basically fix this to run maybe for a little while, we could put a small tank on here. And that is something you can do to run a water-cooled engine. But of course, once this tank is completely dry, you're in trouble basically because you have no more cooling for your engine and it's going to overheat and probably catch fire, which none of us want to deal with that. So I'm going to be connecting up my logic right here and we can spawn it in as well. So our little tank is representing seawater that we are pulling in from the ocean. And I didn't actually put a temperature sensor on this one, but I will do the one for the large fluid spawner one. I'll put a temperature sensor on there as well and show you guys what the temperatures are like. But now we've got it running that nice clean water through there, and yeah, that tank did not last very long at all, and it is going to overheat due to it running out of water so quickly. So that is the basic system for a boat, not with this, but with your fluid port on here. And now I'm going to be moving on to doing a system with a fluid spawner spawning in some fluid, basically some water for this engine. And it's not exactly something that's very small, all things considered. You're going to need a lot of area. As you guys saw before with that small tank representing the ocean, the thing takes a lot of water. So if you actually want a amphibious vehicle to be water cooled, then you're going to need a huge tank of water to be like towed around. You almost need like a trailer behind you to keep it cooled. Yeah, I've tried and it's difficult, all things considered. But to make this fluid spawner right here, all you need to do is make a big box, put a fluid spawner with that little, this side pointing in. And I'm also putting a fluid meter in here as well to tell me how much fluid we've got in this tank. And I'm going to make it as huge as humanly possible here to give us enough cooling to keep this thing running for a little while. And I'm going to have to connect up a few more logic things before I'm done here as well. But now that we've got our tank here, we will have a lot of cool water as well. And if you guys wanted to do a large tank on a boat or something, you could put a large tank and feed it through a pump with some seawater so you can collect water on here. And I don't know, just in case your pumps go out of the water for some reason or I don't know, your battery die. Well, if your battery dies, then these pumps won't run, so you may be out of luck as well. But let me connect up my digital displays, and I can show you guys how effective this the water cooling is for keeping these advanced engines cool. And I was surprised how well these things are at actually keeping the entire thing cool, the advanced engine here. And all we're going to need to do is, we've already got the two pumps connected up to there, so they will pull water from there, but we're going to need to select our fluid spawner and change it over to water instead of diesel. And we're going to need to do one or two more things. Going to connect up our fluid level, I guess fluid meter with the fluid level, and our temperature as well. And I'm going to rename them real quick to temperature and water. So it's going to tell us how much we have in those tanks. Let me make sure I've got all my logic correct here real quick. It seems to be all good. So we should be able to spawn this thing in now. It should run pretty well, decently cool, considering how much water we have in that tank. We shouldn't run out anytime soon. So we'll get the throttle for the engine running right here. And as we can see, the temperature is shooting up. And now we turn on the water cooling. And it is hovering around 7. I'm not exactly sure what we're reading out there, but we've got 10,000, I assume, liters of water. But as you can see, what I was talking about earlier, this thing runs through so much so fast here. And I don't know if there's a way to slow it down to keep it better. I know we can real quick. As you guys can see, the temperature is running fine even though we do push it up and turn our clutch on now. The temperature does go up a little bit, but it goes back down. But once I bring it into here, there are a couple ways to control the amount of water you're using. You can turn down the max power to, I think, like 1%. It'll still run and keep the engine like freezing, like you've got it basically in a freezer. So, yeah, it doesn't exactly make a difference, but you will use a lot less water. And if you're pulling water from the ocean for the boat water cool design, you don't really have to care about turning that down. But if you're using like a huge thing, a huge tank right here, then you may want to worry, especially for a car or amphibious vehicle. Just a quick note, guys, before I go back on with the tutorial. Of course, if you guys are changing up your RPS limiter on the engine past 20, even up to 100, you are going to have to speed your pumps back up to even up to 100% to keep the engine cool. So running it at that 2% power actually will overheat the engine if you're running it very fast. So just a quick tip, and here comes the video again. Yeah, we can start our engine back up here. I can show you guys, even though we did turn down the pump's power here, those pumps still keep it at a good temperature. It may run a little bit hotter, all things considered, but you're using a lot less water per second. As you can see, this still seems very fast, but we're probably losing like maybe 100 liters less per second here almost. It's crazy how much slower. Maybe 100 liters per minute maybe. And we only have that 10,000, so That's 105,000. Yeah, this thing wouldn't run out very fast. Then again, this is a huge and a heavy tank that would not be easy to carry around on any vehicle. So I'm going to bring that back to my workshop real quick, and that is about all the time I do have for this tutorial today. So if you guys do have any questions, you're having trouble building your cooling systems, your water cooling systems, you can of course join my Discord, which is, and it's one of the channel links. You can meet other people that play Stormworks on there, and of course we can help you out make your system here. Or you can leave a comment down below on the video, and I'll hopefully get back to you quick enough to help you with any problems you're having. But anyways, that is all the time I do have for Stormworks today. So if you guys did like this, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel to stay up with Stormworks and more of my content. But I've never been great at goodbye, so people need me, and I need to go.